Alright guys, welcome back. Now in this video, we'll be doing a tax review on all C projects. Now the very first C project is the 0x00 Hello World project. And we'll be looking at all these taxes, tax 0, tax 1, tax 2, tax 3, and we'll be solving them practically, and I'll also be explaining them. Now if you are having a difficult time understanding C programming, or understanding your Linux, you could please drop in a comment so we could actually join our boot camp that is coming up. See you right after the intro. Thank you. Now we start getting on with the video. Okay, welcome to the channel. My name is Sammy. Now in tax 0 here, we're talking about write a script that runs a C file through the preprocessor and save the result into another file. Now that is the requirement, or that is the objective of this particular task. Now the requirements for you to actually get all checks correct in this project is: one, the C file name will be saved in a variable C file, meaning I will have to be creating a variable, which is 1. Now the output should be saved in a file C, meaning if I write a script, this script should this script output should be saved in a file named C. Now, and also my C file itself, like my C file that I'm going to be writing, it should be saved in a variable called C file. Now they didn't tell us the contents of this C file, so I can actually create any .c file and just put in anything there, and then I could just export them to a variable called C file, and when I compile, it should save to a file called C. That's actually the objective. So that is how you actually understand the requirements and how to go about a task. So just quickly going to bring out my terminal here. Okay, put it here. So it says that I should have a C file, right? So I'm just going to call this tax1.c. Now my tax1.c, I'm to just put in my, I should include stdio to the other file, then just put in a comment. Okay, space here, so it will just look quite readable, because we are advised to always write readable codes. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to do int main, and I'm going to do void here, so signifying that my main program, it's not actually accepting any arguments. Then I could do this. Now return 0. Okay, now here then want to come in here and just say printf hello Sammy. Alright, just going to put the new line character. So basically this is what I'm just printing on my C file. Now there is actually an introductory video to see that I'm going to drop in the link to the video in the description below, so I advise you to go watch the C introduction, so at least we could actually get to understand some of this core concept. So okay, moving on. Now I've created my C file, like my .c file. Now according to the requirements here, it says this C file name will be saved in a variable called C file. Now we should remember from our system engineering DevOps, right? We should remember that I also create a variable. So I'm just going to come back here now. I'm just going to use export C file. Then the name of my C file is what? tax1, right? And that's it. Now I've exported it. Now if I'm going to do env, now if you look closely, you're actually going to see this variable here that I just created. You can see it's tax1 C file. So now that's this part is gone. Now we've answered this part. Now the next thing is we should write a script, right? Writing a script, meaning we're writing a bash script. Now when we are writing a bash script, I therefore mean that our first line is always going to be the shebang bing bash, right? Okay, now this particular script should be able to run this file and save it to an output, right? Okay, now first things first, let's know how is a C file being compiled. Let me just quickly clear this here. Now there are 4 stages to a C file being compiled. We have the preprocessor, the preprocessor, the assembler, the compiler, and the linker. Okay, so now the question is, we should run it through the preprocessor, and we actually use the GCC or the CLang as a compiler for compiling our C code. But for me here, I'm just going to be using the GCC. So let's quickly do man GCC to actually kind of read a little bit about it, so we could actually get some idea. Now I say the GCC is actually the GNU Project C and the C++ compiler. So meaning it's able to compile both C and C++ codes, which is cool. Well, I'm not going to bore you with the numerous detail here. We're just going to be going through the options quickly. So now the options are C, S, E, and O, which is cool. You can see the overall options there, C, S, E, and O. So now let's see what's this C, S, E, and O. I want to actually show you how you get these answers than me just doing it straight off the bat, because our goal here is to actually understand. That's why it's called review, so you can actually see where you are doing wrong. And also, if you need a video on actually how to install the Betsy linter, you could actually reach out. Probably I'll make a video as to that. Okay, so quickly let's continue. Just quickly going to go down so you could actually see these options. Well, you could take your time to actually read all this though. Oh, these are much, man. These are very, very much. See? Okay, I think we are approaching the options now. Okay, yeah, so this is where I really want us to actually focus on. Now you see the C flag. Now passing the C flag to our GCC compiler means it's going to compile or assemble the source file, but will not link. I want us to take note of that. That means if we are using this C flag, if we are passing this C flag to our GCC command, it's just going to compile and assemble, but will not link. Now if you are using the S flag, it's just going to stop after the stage of what? Compilation. It's not going to assemble. I want us to note that part. Now, this is just going to stop after the pre-processing stage. You should take note of that. So now, if I want to tackle this task, now I've gotten my answer, which is because it says here, write a script that runs a C file through the preprocessor. My C file is now being saved in this C file variable, right? Cool. So let's continue. Now it should be saved in our output called C, right? So now this is it. Place the primary output in file. Meaning, if you look at here, you can see the dash O. Then after the dash O, this file here is coming right after it. It therefore means that this O is basically saying what output file you want to save it as. So if I, in place of this file, if I put C here, that means going to place the primary output file in file called C. I hope we get that quick analogy. Okay, so now we're actually through with our task 0. We're just going through this. So I'm just going to go first. I always encourage people on the channel that before you actually push to GitHub, you should actually test out your code. So I'm just going to do gcc. Now I'm just going to be using the -e, right? Cool. Then I'm going to be using this guy here. Then OC, right? Good. Now if I'm going to do an ls here, now you can see I now have, okay, wait, let me remove this. Let me remove C first. So I have, okay, yeah, so you can see that right as at now I only have what? tax1.c here as the only file. But if I come in here now to do this and I run in my ls, you can see I now have what? A file called C. So basically this is the command I need to put in my C script, in my bash script. So according to the tax here, they definitely are going to give you a file in which you're going to put this this command in there. But for me, let me just take this to be tax 0. So I'm just going to say vi tax, or let me just do 0 tax. Then in the first line, I'm just going to do shebang bin bash. Now command is going to be gcc -e, because now we've tested it that it actually works. So save file in output should be C. Then we said this particular file should be an executable, right? So just going to come in here, and you can actually do u plus x or whatever, but I just want to do plus x here to actually add executable permission across all groups. That's meaning of plus x, but u plus x means you are only adding executable permission to the user or to the person that actually created the file only. But me doing plus x here is me saying I'm adding executable permission across all persons. That, like, if we're going to be doing ls-l right now you can see here that there's actually x on everybody, right? Cool. Okay, so now if I'm going to, now let's see if this my 0 tax actually works. So I have to remove C again. You can see I've not actually pushed. I'm still testing on my terminal. So I'm going to, now instead of me going back to repeat this particular command here. Let me quickly clear my screen. Instead of me going back to repeat this particular command here, instead I'm just going to run my zero tax here, my bash script. Just going to run it. Now you can see I have wait, let me remove it again so you will actually be sure that it actually works. Then I'm coming back here to run it. Now I'm running an ls. I could see now you could actually see the contents of this by actually opening this file itself, but I'm just going to look at the last 10 lines. So I'm just going to say cats, because cat is actually going to display it to my screen here, which is my standard output. I'm going to say cat C, but I'm just going to pipe it to the tail command, because I really want to just see the last 10 lines, because by default saying tail is just going to read the last 10 lines. So now you can see it's saying int main void printf, so it's basically what is inside. But if I change this to head, I'm just going to see, you can see this is what's on the head. All right, so with that we're actually done with tax 0, which is cool. Now for tax 1, it says you should write a script that compiles a C file but does not link. That compiles a C file but does not link. Now one thing I want to quickly point out is the fact that it says does not link. Now this is the objective of the tax, and the requirement is that the C file name will be saved in a variable C file. The output file should be named the name as the C file, but with the extension .o instead of .c. Meaning if my C file is main.c according to this example, then my output file should be main.o. I don't know if we actually understand it. Okay, so bringing back my terminal here. So now I've also noticed that it is advisable, since it's basically the same file here, the same C file, you could actually just change it. Like you could just copy the content, or you could rename it. But I just prefer copying it. So I'll just copy tax 1.c to, let's call it tax 2.c, and then on my X where I actually exported it. Yep, yeah, we actually exported it. I changed this to 2. Cool. Okay, and then moving on, it says the C file name will be saved the next. We've done that part. Now the output file should be the name as the name of the C file. Okay, so my name of my C file, so my name of my C file is actually what, tax2.c. Now the question is, I should write a program that compiles but does that compiles but does not link. Now that particular option is the lowercase c option that we actually read earlier. Now I'm actually this is my file, and now just doing this basically. Now let's watch the results. Sorry. So my should be tax 1.o. Okay, so basically I'm saying I want to compile this particular guy using this using this flag. I'm compiling the file that's saved in this my variables C file. Then my output should be saved in tax 1.0, because you could see right from here that if my C file is main.c, the output file should be main.o. It therefore means that they're actually going to be checking this. They're actually going to be checking. It's part of the requirement. That's why I say this is the objective, and this becomes the requirement. Alright, if you're enjoying the video and getting some great value from it, I will indulge you to actually please subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and also share this video. Alright, thank you. So now we've actually gotten our answer. So the next thing is to actually put them in a script, because we've actually gotten our answer. Now if I'm going to do an ls, you can see I have tax1.c and then I have tax1.o. So I'm just going to remove tax1.o to verify that I only have tax1.c. Okay, so I think I should just kind of edit tax1.c so it's like probably different from the very first one. Yeah. So I'm just going to say hello Sammy, and let's say printf. This is tax1.c. Okay, so it's actually kind of different. I'm just going to clear my terminal. Here I only have tax1, tax2, so I'm just going to say okay. vi1 tax2 as the answer, as my answer file. Now they're going to actually give you a file here, so actually use that. But for me, I'm just saying that particular file name for me here is one tax. Okay, so vi1 tax. Now again, shebang bin bash. Now it is gcc. The option is c, lowercase c. We should not forget that. My variable is my C file is stored in the variable C file. Now I'm saving it to an output file, which is called tax1.o. okay, which is actually called an object file. Okay, so this is basically it here. And they said that my script should be exactly 2 lines long. So now if you count, you could see this is exactly 2 lines, but here it's no longer 2 lines, it is now 3 lines, because at this point here I'm having just a white space, because you can see this tilde here is no longer there. So please, if you are going to be pushing, I want us to take note of that. So I'm just going to delete that here, so you can basically see that this is actually what 2 lines, because it said your script should be exactly 2 lines long. Now since your script should be exactly 2 lines long, and your first line of your script is always going to take the shebang bin bash, therefore means that the second line is going to contain your answer, and your answer should be 1 line long. Please take note of that, 1 line. Okay, I'm just going to save this. Now I'm just going to do, now I want to do the chmod u plus x, so we could actually compare it with then ls-l. Now you can see here I did chmod plus x, and here I did chmod u plus x, meaning only the owner of the file that has permission to run this. I think this should take us back to our shop permissions tax, permissions project. Okay, so basically we are done with tax 0 and tax 1. Okay, now for tax 2, we say we should write a script that generates the assembly code of a C code and save it in an output file. Now it's basically the same as tax 1. And the difference here is that where we have main.o, it should be main.x. Yes, so for us, where we have tax 1.o, it should be tax 1.x rather, not x. So coming back here, okay, so I'm just going to do, instead of me doing this, just want to copy one tax here to two tax. Okay, so I have that here. So vi2 tax. I'm just going to change here to .s, because it's basically oh sorry, yes, now the objective here is write is that generates the assembly code, generates assembly code. So this actually is not the option for that. So the option is actually the uppercase S. So with that, we are actually done. So whatever is being saved in this C file here is actually going to be compiled and then saved in this tax1.s. Alright, so cool. Now for tax 3, it says to write a script that compiles a C file and creates an executable. So now we're actually creating an executable from our C file, and the executable name should be C is fun. The C file name will be saved in the variable C file. So I would like to point out the fact that starting from tax 0, you should have 4 independent .c files. Let me see, you should have one for this, which is, you can actually say 0 -main.c. Here it could actually be 1 -main.c. For tax 2, you could actually do 2 -main.c. Then for 3, you could actually do 3 -main.c. Now it can actually be the same content inside your C file, because they never said anything from tax 0 to tax 3. They never told you the content of the C file. They only said the C file. You could actually even put in int main and then return, so long it's a C file. Okay, but for me here, I'm not doing that, so I just wanted to point out that part out to us. So in this particular tax tree, we are actually creating an executable, and the name of the executable is actually what C is fun. So first, yeah, just want to copy. I'm going to copy tax 2 to this should be tax 3. And this should be tax 3. So then tax 3.c. Sorry, let's see, a space here. Okay. Oh, sorry. This tax 2. So via tax3.c, say here just want to then print using the same printf, coming here. The C is fun. Alright. Okay, cool. So now just still going to copy, or let me copy and then do this should be tax3, vi tax3, or let me do 3 third tax. I think it's the third tax, right? It will actually be the fourth one here, like this. This particular one is where we are. This is where we are right now. So, shebang, bin, bash. Okay, so this is I'm just going to put, since I'm compiling to get an executable, I'm not going to be passing any option to it instead, but because they said my output file name should be C is fun, that's I'm putting this O flag. This O flag is basically saying you want to create an output file. That's basically it. Okay. So I'm just going to do chmod +6. This, so from here I only have 0 tax, 1 tax, 2 tax, 3 tax. Now I want to run this 3 tax here to actually get my C's fun executable that I can actually run. So I'm just going to come here and I'm just going to do an ls. Now you can see my executable C is fun. Now I want to run my executable. Executable C is fun. Sammy. Okay, why is it showing? Ooh, I have actually not exported it. Sorry. So C file. I need to. It's still using. This is it coming from here. Remember, here my C file is still reading for tax2, so I didn't update it. So I'm just to update it. I'm just going to do. I could actually still do C file since it has already been exported. I could just do C file equals to tax. Was my tax3.c, so I could just really do C file equal to tax3.c. So env. Now you see is updated because the previous time it was actually exported, so now it's updated. So tax3.c. Okay, so if I run this now, come back to run this first to overwrite the previous C's fun, and come here to do this. Now you can see I have ls and C is fun. Alright, okay, so tax4 here is saying I should write a C program. Tax4 is saying I should write a C program that prints exactly. Programming is like building a multilingual puzzle. Now it says I should use the function put s. I'm not allowed to use printf. So I think starting from tax 4 here is when you're actually going to be pushing your .c file to your GitHub. So come in here. So I'm just going to do vi tax 4.c and my hash, include as my preprocessor directive. I want to include my stdio.h. Now please, you should document your code properly because it's actually going to, the Betsy linter is actually going to be checking it. So I'm going to say main a program to print out a string using test. Now the return is actually what? 0. So my main void okay. So it said I should use my puts, not my printf. So I'm going to basically do puts. Printf is a function. Puts is a function. Now this is I'm actually printing out a string. Don't worry, we'll get to understand this in later review videos. So yeah, this is how we declare a string in C using double quotes. But in other languages like Python, JavaScript, strings, you can actually declare strings using single quote or double quotes. But for C, it's exclusive. So let's look at what we are printing. It says programming is like building a multilingual puzzle. Now if you look closely here, there's a opening up double quotes here, so it should be added to what we are actually printing. So it says programming is like building a multilingual puzzle. So I'm just going to write that here. But because I want to print in, because I want to actually print the upper quotes, the double upper quotes, I have to put in a backslash, and this, the backslash here is actually an escape character saying whatever that comes in here, you want to actually print it. Okay, so just in programming is like a multilingual. There's no I there. Yeah, multilingual puzzle. Now is this saying we should print it in a new line? Okay, by default, puts S actually prints a new line. So this is actually our work, and we are done just like this. Programming is like a multilingual puzzle. Like this, we are done with that. Now, did it ask us to create an executable? No. Only that means we are only going to be pushing our tax4 file. But let's test it out if it actually gave us the actual results. So I can just actually do gcc tax4.sim and yeah. So you can see the opening double quote is actually being printed. So like this, we are actually done. We are actually done with tax4. Now tax5 is saying we should write a C program that prints exactly right proper grammar, but the outcome is a piece of art followed by a new line. Now it says we should actually be using our printf function. I think this is kind of easy. I'm not going to be typing everything out. Yeah, so I'm just going to putting this, copying this, going to my terminal. Now, place of this, change this. I think I should just copy. So just copy this. So I'm just going to be changing this using printf here. I could actually comment this out or delete it, but let me delete. Then change this to my print f semicolon to end that, because it said I should print a new line. I'm just going to paste that. It said followed by, you can see it here, use the function printf. You're not allowed to use the function putter. Your program should return 0. Your program should compile without warning when using the wall GCC option. Okay, so I'm just going to, so now in this case I'm going to actually compiling this using GCC wall option. But they're actually wall, you have wall, verob, extra. So I'm just going to do this. You could actually pass all of them in if you want. Just see that they didn't tell us an output file, so we're just going to do, and you can see it actually compiled properly without any errors using the wall. I can pass in more, because after the wall, I can pass in more, which is verob, extra, and GNU89 standard. And you can see they're actually all compliant. Now if I'm going to run my executable, you can see with proper grammar, but the outcome is piece of art. So like that, I'm actually done with this particular task, which is task 5. Now quickly let's move to task 6. It says you write a C program that prints the size of various types on the computer it is compiled and run on. Okay, alright, so I think I will just rush in task 6 and 7 together. Now task 7 says you should write a script that generates the assembly code in Intel syntax. Okay, now remember from here we actually generated an assembly code using what flag? The flag S, right? Okay, so now in task 7 here, it's saying we should actually write a script that generates an assembly code in Intel syntax. So just come here, clear my terminal. That should be under task 2, right? So we could just cut it out first. So let me see. Yes. So yeah. So instead I'm just instead of me doing it, let me copy it out first before. Let me copy it to another file. Copy this to 7 tags. Then change it to 7. Okay, cool. Okay, so it says it's actually in Intel format. So basically, this to actually specify a format to use, you actually do this, and then you pass in Intel. So that's basically the answer here. This is you telling it if you want it to be in the Intel format. So basically, this is your answer. No more, no less. And put in your variable. and if I'm going to run is there an output for this? Yes, there is an output also. So I'm going to change this one to 7. And I'm just going to save. So if I'm going to run this, remember we didn't actually change our cfile variable. Because if I do the env now, our cfile variable is actually for tax3, tax3.c. So we've actually not changed that. So, but let's just run this. Okay, it says warning, linker input file unused because linking not done. Okay, I think we have to correct that. So I'm just going to come in here, back to my, I think I just have to kind of read the GCC file again.